Well, tonight is the night. Vice President Kamala Harris, former President Donald Trump, one-on-one, they will face off in a highly anticipated debate.
There are 8 weeks left until Election Day. These two are really tied, statistically speaking, in the polls. So how can this debate affect the race?
Our good friend and political expert Dave Dulio here with more this morning on just what everyone probably is going to be talking about tomorrow, what the candidates need to be looking out for tonight, making sure they cross all those T's and dot all those I's.
Yeah, this is really one of those high leverage moments in the campaign, I think, and we've seen 3 political earthquakes in this presidential cycle so far, right? With the first debate, the Trump assassination attempt, and then Joe Biden dropping out, right? So this is maybe not poised to have as much of an impact as those 3, but big time pressure on both of these candidates tonight to reach the ever-shrinking population of persuadable or gettable voters, right? And it's because most of the country's made up their mind, right? They know what they think about Donald Trump. They know who they're going to vote for, but in a race that's tied for all intents and purposes, right? That's going to be so razor thin. Those small shifts in voter choice really are going to have a big difference.
Let's just talk about numbers real quick, because I think it was the New York Times poll that found there is a chunk of voters who are saying, I don't know enough about Kamala Harris at this point because she didn't go through that traditional process where we've seen her for months on a campaigning for president. So there are people who are going to be perhaps watching this debate actually trying to learn some real policy. And
it's pretty striking to say that, right? Because she is the sitting vice president of the United States. She's a longtime senator, right? That it's not like she's new on the scene of politics. She's been around a while. She's been vice president for 3.5 years, right? So for voters to say that, boy, we gotta find out a bit more about this person, and I think that there's even a sharper point on that too. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen her shift some positions on some pretty important issues, right? I think voters are looking for clarity from her tonight.
Dave, is the goal for both candidates more so than even going out there and doing something to win it? Just make sure you don't lose it. Just make sure you don't, if you're Donald Trump, make sure you don't attack her. If you're Kamala Harris, make sure you don't stumble over some big policy idea where you don't have an answer for it. I mean, it feels like you're trying not to lose rather than win.
Well, to some extent, yes, right? I mean, I think goal number 1 is don't screw up, right? And so that's the viral moment tomorrow, where, if we're talking here tomorrow morning, it's, boy, did you see how bad that was, right? I think it's more about sort of hold your position, sort of status quo to some degree, because it's close, right? A big screw up can make a difference, but if you're just plodding along, scoring your points, doing what you need to do to communicate to those folks that maybe don't know enough yet or who are on the fence, right? That's really what they're trying to do.
But to that point, we are living in a much different world just with pop culture and the way it's infused in politics now. So everyone probably is looking for that one soundbite of the night, that gotcha moment. What do you think the importance of actual debate prep is in a moment like this?
Well, I think it's different for both candidates, right? I think Donald Trump has got a bunch of experience with this sort of thing, right? He's on the campaign trail a lot. He does a lot of interviews with, frankly, hostile media, right? And that he takes as adversarial, that he is punching back and pushing back. Kamala Harris has not really done that, right? She's had one interview, not even by herself. She had Tim Walz with her with that CNN interview. But that's it, right? So she needs some practice. She needs some practice to be sort of in the ring, if you will, with somebody who's going to spar with her a little bit.
But there was a time where she was must-see TV during those Senate hearings where she had all those one-liners. I mean, she is a prosecutor. It's not somebody who has absolutely zero experience.
Without a doubt, right? And she's going to have to rely on that. She's going to have to go back to those experiences and draw upon them and use them to her advantage tonight.
There is, though, as we saw with the Joe Biden-Donald Trump debate, it can come down to 10 seconds, right? I mean, a 10-second
train of thought
moment can, I mean, it ruined a presidential campaign for Joe Biden.
And that's not the only time that that's happened, right? You go back to 2012, and we had a debate on our campus at Oakland University between the Republican primary candidates, and Rick Perry froze and
didn't know the three branches of government, or
he was going to get rid of
the three things of policy departments that he was going to get rid of.
Right, and that ended his campaign, right? So, and to your point, though, we know that the aftermath, the spin, and the reactions tomorrow and then the days after that are almost as important to voters as what happens tonight on the debate stage.
And it is on social media. It is quick and it is ferocious.
Yes.
10 seconds. Will we see another debate after tonight?
No.
There you go.
Dave Dulio, thank you so much.
Sure thing.
We love talking to you, obviously. Alan?